All right, everybody. I know what you might be thinking. You see the tier list, we're about to fill it out. Oh, but there's already one guy filled out in there. It's Spencer Rattler. I mean, we're not really. Are you starting Spencer Rattler really in any league? Come on, give me a break. Let's kick this thing off. First and foremost, if you haven't already, go ahead, check out the live. We're live every single Sunday, helping you with start sit decisions. Find me over on X, formerly known as Twitter, and that'll be a great spot for you to keep up to date with a lot of the things that I'm doing. But without further ado, let's start this one off. Got to go with my man Josh Allen as the QB1 here this week, playing against the Jets. We just saw what Aaron Rodgers did to them, 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's the reigning MVP for a reason. Let's just not make it hard. Runner-up in MVP, we're going to go with Lamar Jackson against Cleveland. That's a nice matchup there for him. Cleveland's defense, I mean, they just beat up on Joe Burrow, who will be mentioned here shortly. But, yeah, Lamar Jackson brings a little bit of a different element to his game. Let's go ahead and throw him in there. Jaden Daniels. He's definitely going in the must-start tier, of course. Where he ends up in there, we'll kind of move some players around once we get to the end. I want to really start with Mr. Hurts here. Get him right in there. He dominated. I mean, he gets Kansas City this week. We just saw Justin Herbert. Like, he ended up doing some magic. They threw the ball way more than expected. If you watched any of the next-gen stats, looking at where Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball last week, astronomically crazy how far he wasn't throwing the ball. Almost everything was behind the 10-yard line. You had one deep shot to Jahan Dotson. I expect a little bit of a bounce back from A.J. Brown as well. But yeah, I'm going to have to start Hurts over Daniels for sure. They're playing against Green Bay. Green Bay has a crazy good defense. I think that it's very underrated defense. A lot of people played against them last week, and them and the Rams, I think, are ones that are showing up and showing out here in 2025. Let's go next. Let's find Joe Burrow. Let's find him a home. I think he can go right. He's a pocket passer, right? We've got the 4 elite rushing quarterbacks. So I would be starting Jaden Daniels over Joe Burrow. That's kind of a little bit of a no-brainer. His just floor is a little bit higher. Joe Burrow, this is a big bounce back week for him. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, basically everybody not named Chase Brown. They get Jacksonville, so yeah, that'll be a nice one. Oh man, I don't really want to. I'm not going there. Let's find a name that could also make it into the must start tier. We mentioned him earlier, but Justin Herbert, they threw the ball so much. Marion Hampton, I mean, he basically got all of the running back work, but it was still not that much work. I think it was like, 8 carries that he got there in his very first game. They trust that kid. I mean, they definitely trust him. They gave him the ball 4-1 on that. I think it was their own 30-yard line. So, yeah, I'm not worried about Najee. I'm concerned with how they're going to keep using Justin Herbert there. If they're going to keep passing the ball, are they going to keep this pass rate up that is so high? That's something that we have to obviously take a look at and figure out and adjust accordingly. Week 1 does not determine everything. Is Joe Burrow going to be the quarterback, whatever he was this week, 33 out of 32? Like, he just, that's not going to happen each and every single week. So, yeah, we're going to kill it Justin Herbert here. He's playing the Raiders in Las Vegas. Here's my next quarterback going to be coming up. It's Justin Fields. He plays Buffalo. And, we expected him to have rushing, and he had a crazy rushing game. He ended up having, I think it was 2 touchdowns on the ground, but another through the air, which is where we really want to see him kind of excel. Crazy baseline. Him and Garrett Wilson, I mean, what's not to love? These guys are must-start players each and every single week. Next one, I'm going to say this is a strong start. We're going to move into the strong start category with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, he's playing Carolina. This should be an easier matchup. I think it was, Trevor Lawrence just played against them last week. We were expecting big things. Brian Thomas, was one reception. Absolutely insane. I mean, it wasn't their defense. It was more of a lack of offense there for Jacksonville. But yeah, I mean, Kyler, we got to keep it going. I think that his late night mishaps that he had until about 4 a.m. or so is probably one of the biggest killers of his fantasy day last week, but he still finished strong. It wasn't as strong as we wanted. I think we get another strong start here, and maybe even moves up into the must-start category, in future weeks. All right. I'm just going to kind of go in order here of some of the other players. We'll jump around just a little bit, make it a little bit fun. Joe Flacco is somebody who is playing the Baltimore. Nobody's going to go behind Spencer Rattler, so we'll just make sure that he stays there. But yeah, Joe Flacco, that's a deeper league play. Aaron Rodgers, I think where a lot of people are going to have question marks. Some people picked him up on waiver wires, throws 4 touchdowns against the Jets. Jets defense, which on paper looks really good, but has been susceptible to both the pass and the run. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers is, I would say, a very weak start. Who does he get this week? He gets the Seahawks. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to move him down into like a deep league start only. Even with that 4 touchdowns, we saw that he wasn't very mobile there in week 1. But yeah, Rodgers is still just somebody, you need to see it week in, week out. 4 touchdowns isn't something that I'm going to bet on. Is going to be happening each and every single week. Matthew Stafford, I would say he's a weak start. Matthew Stafford, he's probably a weak start here. Plays against Tennessee. Tennessee, they just kind of shut down Bo Nix. They're in Mile High. So I love the weapons. Obviously, we love Puka Nacua. We love Devontae Adams. But Stafford is still somebody who needs to throw passing touchdowns. He needs to, he's not going to be running the ball. So as a pocket passer, he's kind of a weak start. We might be able to adjust him in a later tier once we get everybody on the board. So stay tuned for that. Patrick Mahomes, he gets Philadelphia. I'm going to put that as a strong start because we know that Philadelphia is obviously going to put up points in some capacity. We expect to bounce back there for A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, even Saquon Barkley to an extent. Wasn't crazy good on the ground, but he did have a touchdown. So yeah, I would say that Patrick Mahomes is probably a strong start here for this week. Geno Smith, another one. He's playing the Chargers. I would probably start Aaron Rodgers over Geno Smith at this point. We got question marks around Brock Bowers. We have question marks around Jacoby Myers. Still kind of, I mean, he had a crazy game. I saw the stat. I actually posted it on X. Again, you can follow me there at _Colt Williams. But I posted it. Jacoby Myers had 6 missed tackles forced in week 1. In his 15-game sample of weeks 1 through, 15 or so, in 2024, he had 7 total missed tackles forced. So he's playing for a new contract. He wanted to get traded. He said that wasn't going to happen. So then he's like, well, I guess I'm going to play ball. But yeah, we have question marks around Brock Bowers. I'm recording this here on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for practice reports as they come. Let's go with Jared Goff. Jared Goff, I mean, just the whole Lions offense post Ben Johnson. We have question marks all around it. People are wondering, what's going on. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, set an NFL record for the fewest amount of receiving yards on 10 receptions. 31 receiving yards. Like, they just couldn't get anything going. But again, I think that did have to do with the Packers defense just being much, much better than we expected. If you've seen any of the highlights from that game, Micah Parsons just getting double teamed, just everybody swarming to the ball every single second that they could get. So I think the Packers defense is legit. It's TBD to figure out what the Lions actually are without Ben Johnson. So I'm going to put Jared Goff, play Chicago. We saw Chicago kind of get to J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy in his first start. Lions are obviously, just as a team as a whole, should be better. But I'm going to put Jared Goff as like a decent start there against Chicago. Where they this is at home. So at least he's got that going for him, I would say. Dak Prescott is a person who put down, a lot of people lost week 1 because of Dak Prescott. Even if you had the stack with CeeDee Lamb, or George Pickens. Oh my goodness. If you had George Pickens and Dak and you thought, oh, I have this cheap stack here, like we're going to, things are going to, there's brighter days ahead. I would say it's this week is where brighter days are ahead. Play the Giants. They're playing at home. This is one where I expect a bounce back game for them. Dak looked good. I thought so. You guys feel free to leave in the comments. Just let me know what you think Dak actually looked like in week 1 outside of his fantasy finish, because we all know that was bad. But yeah, I thought he actually looked pretty good getting the ball out on time. Like there were some shots. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb, what was it, 3-4 drops in that game. So that's going to hurt a lot of people. Let's go on to Baker Mayfield. They're playing in Houston. Man, Houston's defense, I want to put them in a strong start. I'll put them in a strong start. And then again, we'll move them around if needed. But yeah, Baker is one who, I think he had 3 touchdowns, 167 yards or so. Like, that's not something that happens often. His touchdown rate was expected to kind of decrease. He had a really high touchdown rate, and then here he goes again. It's, not a lot of pass attempts, not a lot of yards, but 3 touchdowns. I mean, you got to give it to the man. So that's Baker Mayfield for you and the Bucs the last 2 years, really. Sam Darnold, we need to see some more. I love JSN this week, but Sam Darnold at Pittsburgh, like that's a very, very tough matchup for just about anybody. We're going to put him in deep league starts only. Going with the same with Tua. I mean, I expected bigger things for Tua coming that, Tyreek Hill. We like a lot of his weapons, Devon Achane. We like Jalen Waddle. But Tua just looked under duress out there. Like, it looked really, really bad. Tua, and this is against New England again. I have to check out, I'm going to check out the practice reports on Christian Gonzalez, because, obviously we need him out there. I think that's a big, he's on track, just on track to play. So again, that's another one where if Gonzalez, I mean, he's a top 5 cornerback in the league. If he's out there, that's where you bring Tua and his pass catching weapons, specifically Tyreek Hill, but you got to bring him down just a lot more. The man of week 1, Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, is what people are starting to call him. Was it a fluke? People are asking. I mean, I've seen a lot of different stats online of this is the best team that he's ever been a part of. You factor in offensive line, you factor in coaching, you factor in running back, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. I'm going to lean on the Barkley side, but as a whole, you have Michael Pittman, you have Josh Downs, who wasn't really used in week 1. You have now Tyler Warren, the rookie. There's a lot to love about Indianapolis and what they're doing, but Daniel Jones was just slinging it all over the field. Like, he looked awesome. Rushing the ball just a little bit too, so that's always a part of his game. Very underrated rusher, I feel like. You say underrated rusher and you think of Danny Dimes, and you just think of that 80-yard rush that was not a touchdown somehow, thanks to the turf monster. But yeah, Daniel Jones is playing in Denver, or playing versus Denver. It's at home at least. They've got that. But I'm gonna say it's probably a weak start. I want to see some more out of him. I think he has a couple of tough matchups that are coming up here in just a few weeks. But yeah, against Denver, that's less than ideal. Yeah, I think it's Tennessee and then the Rams. Again, I think the Rams are a very underrated defense, and that's Rams at home in week 4 for Danny Dimes. Yeah, I'm going to wait and see approach on him, not throwing him straight into my lineup. I just saw the report. I'm going to go ahead and just grab, well, I won't even rank him this week. We'll use Brock Purdy as a placeholder. I think it's going to be Mac Jones that starts ahead of him. So just imagine this is Mac Jones' face that's right in front of Spencer Rattler, because I would start Mac Jones over the rat tail himself. Let's go Jordan Love, and he's just Mr. Efficient. He doesn't throw a lot. They don't throw a lot there on the Packers, and they didn't really need to against the Lions, so you can't blame him. But yeah, Jordan Love, he if you look at any of his, he's not throwing for a lot of yards, but he's throwing for a lot of touchdowns. It reminds me of kind of like a low yardage, same touchdown output of a Baker Mayfield. And yeah, I mean, if that's something you're into, we want to see more out of Matthew Golden. We want to see more out of just really all the weapons there. I think, yeah. Yeah, Jordan Love. Let's just go ahead. Let's put him. Oh, man. That's just like not a. First Washington. Washington will put up some points. I'll put him as a decent start. Again, we'll adjust and adapt as we need. Trevor Lawrence, I'm gonna just go ahead and throw him in week start. This is somebody who I was super excited. Oh man, it's against Cincinnati too, though. We'll put him at the top of week start. I want to see more out of him. We saw a lot of misses in week 1, and there's high expectations in that Liam Cohen offense there in Jacksonville. So he's kind of got to stay off of fantasy rosters, and Superflex, you're probably okay with him as your quarterback 2, but certainly not as your quarterback 1. Really, if you get down to the week start area here, or deep leagues, they shouldn't be on your starting roster outside of, I guess, dynasty leagues or Superflex leagues. That's, you're going to have your second quarterback. Bryce Young, not a great start to the 2025 season. They've got Arizona. Yeah, I think we're gonna put them right about here, right behind Aaron Rodgers, which is kind of crazy to say. Aaron Rodgers playing Seattle, while Bryce Young, I can't do that. Bryce Young having to play Arizona, I think that's definitely a better spot that you want to be in than playing against the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks defense is another one, especially through the air. It's pretty underrated. Michael Penix, we saw a rushing touchdown out of him. We saw a little bit of some rushing capabilities. If you saw his pro day, I think it was what was it now, about a year and a half ago or so. That dude can run. He's super fast, but he just whenever he was at Washington, he just simply didn't run the ball. Why they had him do that, I'm not sure. I mean, he's a great pocket passer too. We're hoping Drake London's in there. If Drake London is in there, then he definitely gets a bump up, but not somebody you have to start in a lot of leagues. He's playing against Minnesota. We saw Caleb, came out 9 for 9 or 10 for 10 to start that game. I'm going to put him in a decent start, but at the lower half portion of that. CJ Stroud against Tampa. Tampa's going to be putting up some points. Houston's defense is pretty good, but yeah, CJ Stroud, until we see it, we really need to temper expectations with him. Caleb Williams. Tell me what you guys think about Caleb Williams, because I like Caleb Williams. If you watched the Monday Night Football game there against the Vikings, again, obviously he started strong, finished not great. Missed DJ Moore on an open touchdown. I stepped out of bounds when he's trying to extend the play. Like, these are kind of... He's still looking like a rookie in a sense. I know it's his first... his 18th game, if you will, but... Yeah, Caleb Williams, we love all the weapons. I like all of the weapons that he has, and that's why I have high expectations for him, because we like all of those. And then he adds, some rushing capability to his game. He was on pace for almost 500 yards last season, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, him and Bo Nix. I mean, you got a couple of rushing mobile quarterbacks coming up here at the end of the tier. But, yeah, Caleb Williams, I'm going to put him. He's playing in Detroit. This one here, it might surprise some people, but I'm probably putting him over Jordan Love. Jordan Love playing at Washington. Yeah, Caleb Williams, I'm okay with putting him as a decent start. Again, you don't have to start him in single quarterback leagues, but I think he's going to be pretty strong there. Bo Nix, man, we need to see it. We need to see it. You played against Tennessee at home, expecting big things, expecting some rushing capabilities. Like, I think he had 2 picks in this game. I'm just going off the top of my head, but they were awful. It was, if I remember the game correctly, yeah, that was just a game where they tried to run the ball a lot too. J.K. Dobbins was looking nice. You had R.J. Harvey was looking nice, but yeah, Bo Nix, I'm still throwing him back out there. I'm gonna be happy to throw him out there. I would put him. He's playing, in Indianapolis. Who does Baker have? Baker's got Here's got Houston. I'd put him above Baker, and that's no disrespect to Baker. I feel like people understand that Bo Nix, just the rushing capability, he's going to be able to move the ball a little bit easier. This is where me, as a fan of Tom Brady, as a fan of the Patriots, as a fan of Drake May, somewhat, but man, I want to see more. I'm not totally convinced. I'm not sold on Drake May just yet. I want to see, is Kayshon Boutte real? Is Stephon Diggs? We want to see a little bit more out of him. Mario Douglas, what's going on there? -2 yards? Like, what are we doing? Yeah. So Drake May, oh, man, who does he get? Who did he get this week? It's Miami, and Miami looked awful. Made Indiana Jones, look great. So yeah, I would put him probably, again, my confidence with him is not high. I know a lot of people are going to have him much, much higher given the matchup, but I would probably put him, Jared Goff's playing Chicago. Man, I'd probably put him about right here next to Michael Penix. Michael Penix is still a question mark. You could flip-flop these two if you wanted, given Drake London's not out there. I mean, you got to put Michael Penix in probably like the weak start tier. But yeah, it's I want to see more out of Drake May. I really, really need to see more out of Drake May. I know we saw a lot of the rushing capabilities, scramble plays in 2024, but bring all that to 2025. Pass the ball some more. We want to see that for sure. And JJ McCarthy, Kid has some spunk. He didn't look horrible. He's getting Atlanta here this week. This is one where, again, you're not starting him, but I think that he is a strong week start. So like in a super flex league, I'm probably okay with him there. But yeah, want to see a little bit more out of him. Want to see more targets to Justin Jefferson, arguably the best best wide receiver in all of football. I want to see more out of that in the first half. I mean, you got to use your best player. Yeah, it was just not a great start there for JJ McCarthy, but they won the game. So, winner's gonna win. Winner's gonna win. Let's go with Cam Ward. I mean, again, I said the Rams defense is really strong. He gets another tough matchup. Obviously, went to Mile High, had to play there. Had Calvin Ridley dropping some passes. Had I thought Cam Ward looked okay, not great. And I'm a big Cam Ward kind of guy. But you simply can't start him right now. He's going to go, again, this is assuming we get Mac Jones as a start, not Brock Purdy. Again, I saw multiple reports of Brock Purdy probably being out for a few weeks, which kind of bodes well with meeting back up there with Kittle once he gets back. And then Russell Wilson, no need to really think about this one. I know it's Dallas. I know we saw Hurts kind of put on a clinic with them, mainly on the ground, but yeah, I'd probably start Mac Jones over Russell Wilson at this point. They're going to be making a point to get to Jackson Dart at some point once they beef up the line, once they possibly get fired if they keep Russ out there for any longer. But this is the tier list. This is the quarterback tier list that I think where we can kind of set in stone. I mean, I'm gonna look around at a lot of these matchups. You've got a couple guys here. Again, the Drake May one I think is a pretty low ranking. This puts him at about quarterback 16 or 17 or so. A lot of people are going to have him as a low end, or yeah, I guess a low end quarterback 1, being around 12 or 13. So yeah, I think this is a nice little setup. A lot of guys I'm pretty excited about in future matchups, but in week 2, this is your quarterback rankings again. So others can find this. Feel free to share the video. Go ahead, again, if you want to see all of my work, you can find all the links in the description below. And then follow me on Twitter @_Colt Williams. And I will see you back next week with the quarterback week 3 rankings. Catch you then.